Yo, 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 yo. Welcome. It's me. It's me. I'm hosting today. Welcome to Fly Nubian Money, where we help you master your mindset and maximize your money. Today's topic hits so close to home for a lot of people, y'all, especially blended families. Anybody here in a blended family situation? Anybody ever been in a blended family situation? Go ahead and put that in the comments. We're going to talk about a viral video where a woman, y'all, demands that her soon-to-be ex-husband, the stepfather, not even the biological father, continue to pay child support for her kids. He ain't even her biological father, y'all. Is it fair? Is he really responsible after that marriage ends? I want to get into it, but first, we got the queens and the king in the building. Yes. All right, y'all. So we got Dr. Alicia. She is a social work professor and she is a couples coach. So if you need to get it together with your man or your woman, call her because she got all the answers. Okay. Then we got we got all the doctors on here today. Oh, I got a PhD. Oh my God, I feel so insufficient. We got Dr. Joe up in here. He's a licensed therapist and mental wellness coach. And then we have Dr. Lene Javette. She ain't no what do you call that? Honorary doctorate. She has her PhD and not a public high school diploma, y'all. Dr. Lene Javette is a business coach and a monetization strategist. Y'all. Let's get into it. Well, let's first start off because I don't even want to go into the questions yet. I do want to first start off with this viral video that we're talking about, and I want to get your reactions from it. Do you think it's fair? Let's go.
I pay for her daughter that's not mine biologically. Yeah, I took care of her. Okay. 15, and we'll figure this out.
You just thrown away 7 years of being in your daughter's life.
You're throwing away 7 years.
You raised her.
This was your idea, not mine.
This
is your idea, not mine. Was it not your idea to get divorced?
We're not getting anywhere. Let's just take 15 minutes to cool off.
How you don't want to take care of Charlotte?
Yo, you being unprofessional.
How you don't want to help me take care of
You're
Charlotte?
very unprofessional.
So what I'm supposed to
Talk
tell
to your
Charlotte?
lawyer.
So what I'm supposed to tell her? You just walking out of her life completely.
Yes, I am. I'm closing this chapter in my life. You want a divorce? I'm closing the chapter on you and Charlotte. I'm not taking care of either one of y'all.
You never wondered why I wanted the divorce? You never asked me why I wanted the divorce.
Okay, you got a
You don't
divorce.
think it's something that you did wrong?
I ain't do nothing wrong.
Women
That's
don't
why I'm
want
not
divorce
taking
for
care
no
of you and
reason.
Charlotte. I ain't nothing wrong. You just walking away because you probably got a dude. You probably got a dude or something. I don't know what's going
If
on.
I had a dude, I wouldn't be asking you for no.
But check this out. I'm not about to take care of you. Meet somebody else. You gonna do this.
You know what? It's the entitlement for me. What y'all? It's the idea that she thinks he's supposed to.
I feel like it's the audacity.
The audacity. Yeah, go, Dr. Lene, speak on that.
So here's the thing. Let me say, I hear his hurt and pain. Like he's
all up in his energy.
He's hurting. He's hurt. I hear his hurt and pain, and he is offended. Right? Let me say that. So some of that probably ties into it, but the reality is this is a stepfather. If you want somebody to take care of your child, have her father take care of her. Right?
What the father's dead? We're in jail.
It doesn't matter. This is still not this man's responsibility. Now, there are some stepfathers who have stepped into a child's life and have said, you know what, I've been in your life. You are my child. I got you. I'm still show up. I know a few. I got 3 homeboys actually that I can name like off the rip who take care of children that are not theirs. Mm-hmm. So it does happen. Do you have to do it? Is it mandatory? Should you expect it? Hell no.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. What you think, Joe?
I feel like, yeah, I agree with Dr. Lene. She's definitely tripping, but also he's tripping a little bit too. I feel like the video is a little loaded. Cutting off financially, that's one thing, but completely cutting off the girl and the role he played in her life. I'm not with that. So what was the standing when they were 6-7 years in and recognizing her as her father, recognizing him as her father, and all of a sudden that cuts off. I'm not with that. What was he doing that entire time?
Yeah, but the thing about it is, and I get it because as an adult, how can you disconnect yourself from a child, right? Because it's not about the other person, but he's hurt. I think he's coming from a place of hurt, and honestly, that's not his obligation or responsibility. He doesn't have to. Should he morally? Sure, but does he have to? What do you think, Dr. Alicia?
Okay, so it's a very intense situation, and I'm glad that the arbitrator or whoever or the mediator was there to say, let's all cool off a little bit. That was a really good move there. I was not or even aware that there would be a legal financial responsibility of a step parent to the child once that relationship dissolves between the two parents. But I'm looking it up on my phone here, that the courts can consider, if the biological father wasn't involved, that child is considered the child of the marriage. And so even if it's a step parent situation, if that step parent took on the responsibilities as if they were the only parent, then they legally could be responsible for that child. That was the first thing that I was not aware of. But there are some nuances there. So the mom, for whatever reason, she seems to be in a lot of pain because she is saying, you know why I'm asking for a divorce? Don't put it off on me. You're trying to put it off on me like it's my fault that now you have to lay in the bed that you are partly part of that made this bed. So that's the first thing I want to say. And of course, he's upset and hurt by it. So I do think it's great for them to kind of come together when their mind is more clear to talk about an arrangement here. So it does seem as if there's some precedent there. For 7 years, he's been operating as a parent figure. So it seems like he would be responsible. That is really interesting. This is why you have to have a prenuptial agreement, and some of these agreements need to be made when this blended families coming together in this way. And I think this is really sad. I think that not even just financially, but emotionally, there's so much investment in the development of a child. So it definitely makes sense that she would ask for, now that I'm understanding this, that she would ask for support.
Yeah, the law says that she's entitled to it. But go to Kendrick. Oh, go ahead, Dr. Lene.
I said I doubt she even knew that at the time she asked. I think she's
right.
She didn't know none of that when she sat down. When she decided to get a divorce, she's like, I'm gonna divorce him and I'm gonna make him pay. I doubt she knew the law. She went and sat with an attorney, and they were like, you know what, we could probably make this work. And you can tell in her entitlement of you gonna be in Charlie's life and not pay. Kendrick Jackson had a comment.
That's what I was getting ready to say. Go to Kendrick.
She didn't make the real daddy pay for his own kid. Another guy really shouldn't. A child of a marriage is a child born in that wedlock. That's not this person's real child. Like, if you ain't going after the real daddy.
Where's the energy for the real daddy? Are you giving him this much energy for this child? Are you giving the real daddy energy, the same energy? So going back to that though, is there, because what you said, Dr. or Joe, is that, there's the moral responsibility. Like, should he just cut her off because he's not with the mom? So what's the line between the moral and the legal responsibility? Even if he's not responsible, is there a moral duty for him as the father?
Yeah, I mean, that's what I'm saying. We got to separate the financial responsibility and the presence. I mean, but we got to do that with the real daddies too. Sometimes if you don't pay child support, women aren't allowing fathers to be present. We got to separate that stuff. So I'm thinking about it from a standpoint of, you chose this family. It's your chosen family, and I'm coming from the perspective of when I married my wife, she had a son already, and also I'm somebody's stepson. So I'm looking at it like that. And had we chose to separate, would I have been able to then, separate myself from the child in that way after committing myself to not only this woman, but her children as well? I don't think I could have done that, but that was just my mindset. But at the same time, if she would have looked at me across from the table and said, you now are financially responsible for this child, I probably would have got pissed off and started saying some of the stuff that he was saying. So that's why I'm saying that clip is a little loaded. And, he said all those things and he was probably in the right for saying them. But, once that child hears that, you can't walk that stuff back. That's out. You can't walk it back. So how is that baby going to feel?
Right. What do you think, Dr. Alicia? Is there a moral, the line between the moral and the finance or the legal responsibility?
Yeah, there is a line. And he mentioned that you're going to find another man. You're going to find another man. And then here I am taking care of a child that's not legally or biologically mine, or genetically mine. So that makes sense. Gosh, this is such a 7 years. 7 years in the eyes of a child is a very long time. It's like a lifetime for that child. So I'm just thinking about, like, emotionally, that child is super, super duper connected to not only their stepfather, but their stepfather's whole family. Like it's a family of people, in-laws and everything. And to just cut that off completely, like what he was suggesting, that could be psychologically damaging to the child. To the parent, 7 years, we're adults. It's not such a big deal as it is to a child.
Yeah. What do you think, Dr. LeMay?
I have a catch-22 emotion, because Dr. Alicia is absolutely correct. She is right. It can be psychological to a child. And then it comes back to, this is not my child to consider, to think about, right? This man, based on the clip, we don't know for sure. He don't got no kids. And if he don't got no kids, that means he's going to go into another relationship with a different woman and have a family and make some kids. Those will be the kids that he has to be psychologically responsible for. And that wife, not this person. Now, I say that to say this. My dad, I have a step brother that I don't say step with, because he's been around I can remember since I was little. My dad has raised this boy since he was 2. And he calls my dad his dad. I don't even think, and he knows who his dad is. He has a relationship with his dad, but my dad is his dad. He is my brother. He's my older brother. Then it's me. Then it's my other siblings with his mom, per se. And my dad don't know no different. My dad's wasn't with his mom. He got married, had other kids. That's still his son. Like I've seen it where a man will step away. This is my kid. Like this is my new woman, but this is still my kid. I'm still connected. Now, does this happen when the man doesn't have kids with this other woman? Like my dad has my stepbrother, but his mother has 2 other kids by my dad. So it looks crazy to come into the house and not take care of all 3 of the kids, just your 2. So I guess the question I'm saying is, we see it when there's multiple kids, but should a man who does not have any kids with this woman take care of this woman's children when he has none? Will be starting his own family and having his own kids?
Ooh, that's a good question. And I want to respond to this right after this break.
Hey, if you're just tuning in, you are watching Fly Nubian Money, where we help you master your mindset and maximize your money. I am Tierra Williams. I'm also known as Miss Black Hollywood, and I am the proud producer of this show. So I hope that every day when you join us, you leave a little smarter than you came, because that's the point. Otherwise, why are you watching? So if you want to receive notices for when we go live, Fly Nubian Money goes live every single day. That's Monday through Friday at 1 p.m. to 2 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. So if you don't know, now you know. All you have to do is text the word Queens. That's Queens. That's Queens to 87948. That's 87948. That's Queens to 87948. Yes. If you want.
Y'all, if y'all don't text the word Queens to 87948, our producer's going to whoop your ass. So make sure you text the word Queens to 87948. Dr. Lene, because the way she said, like, y'all better don't play with us. Don't play with her.
That's hilarious.
Listen, but Dr. Lene, you know what? It made me think about my brother. So my brother has one biological daughter. She's the oldest, right? So he was with her mama for a little bit. They had the baby. Then she went, and she might be watching this. She went and had a baby by somebody else. And she said, hey, would you mind being my son's father? He said, okay. Then she went and had a baby by somebody else. And she said, hey, would you mind being this baby's father too? Okay. Then she went and had a baby by somebody else. These are 4 baby daddies. The last one, he was like, I can't do that one. But he did take on the responsibility of her other children after. So he has one biological child with her, 2 other ones that aren't his biologically, but they are our niece and my niece. That's my nephew. Like, ain't no step. Those are his kids that, we've known them their whole life. But what do you think about like a man that would take on, because had she probably, because he took on that responsibility, he may have had to pay child support if she would have come after him, right? Do you think so, Dr. Alicia?
Well, legally, they could set the precedence, because I'm reading as you're talking, I'm reading that there's 5 things that
pull that law up.
I pulled it up. There's 5 things that courts look up. They look up, number 1, the extent to which the stepchild participates in the extended family as the same way as they would a biological child would. Whether the step parent provides financial support to the stepchild, which may depend on the step parent's ability to pay. Whether the step parent disciplines the stepchild as if they are the parent, whether the step parent demonstrates to others that they are responsible for the child as a parent, and the extent of the stepchild's relationship, if any, with their absent biological parent. So those are the 5 key criteria. So if you are operating in the life of a child as if you are their biological parent, taking on all of the emotional, you're sending them to Christmas time, you're spending Christmas with their family, like you're parading them around as if you are their child, as if you are their parent, then you can have legal responsibility for that child once the marriage dissolves.
Is that in all states?
That's what I was thinking, but it looks like that's how it is.
That's
today.
Every state will have some
nuance, you think?
Yeah, some nuance of it. Somebody in the goddess at Athena, she says that Texas follows that. I think every state may be a little bit different or have some variants of it. And in theory, I get it. You know what I'm saying? In theory, I understand it, but at the same time, in ethically, morally, from a place of responsibility, I think it's crazy.
Yeah, but I do. Go ahead.
No, go ahead.
No, but this is really a really good conversation, because most people didn't know about this law. Who knew that a step parent was really financially responsible for their child?
Potentially.
Yeah. But Dr. Joe,
allegedly.
But Dr. Joe, what does that do for a child when they have this parent in their life? Because I'm gonna tell you this. One of my kids said, I would have rather never had to have had my father than to have had my father in my life at one time and then him no longer be there. Right. I would have rather never had a dad than have him be there and be present and to no longer be there. What does that do, Joe, to a child when a step parent comes in, they're raising that child just like their own, and they decide that they just want to, I ain't with your mama no more, so I ain't with you?
It potentially creates severe abandonment issues, like in a real way. Here you are. Children don't know any better. All they know is that this person has been in my life, and maybe I'm speaking from the perspective of someone who is a good step parent. So I'm not even talking about those who are trash, regardless anyway. So if you have been a good step parent, you've been present in this child's life, they know you as a parental figure, and then you abandon them, then what does that do for your psyche? If anybody that you believe is supposed to be there for you, this is your belief, and then they're gone, now you've got these abandonment issues that are going to follow you all the way to your adulthood. Now, saying all of that, I still think this man should have the right to walk away from. I think Dr. Lene is right. He should have the right to walk away from his situation and create his own situation somewhere else if that's what he wants to do. But all I'm saying is, if you do that, do you at least consider what you are doing to this child who you've been present for all these years? And I feel like you can consider it. Now, you still have the right to move, but you've got to consider that. Yeah,
it's option versus obligation. But Dr. Lene, since he said that, like, okay, should should they just suck that shit up? Hey, you knew what you was step's child the whole time. You just gotta suck it up and move on with your life. I mean, what does that really do for a child who has to deal with that? That abandonment. Is it on the mom? Is it the mom's responsibility?
It is because I want to say, as a mother, I feel for this child. As a child of a father who was not present, I want to say I feel for this child. But the reality, like being realistic, is that it's not this man's responsibility to take care of this other man's child. And as I say it, I hear myself saying it. But if you marry this woman, and this woman has a child, and you are saying, I take on the responsibility of this woman and her children and her child while we are married, to death do us part, whatever the case might be. When the vows are finished and the relationship is finished, then the vows and relationship, or the extension of care and provision to the children, then is cut off. Dang, I don't know. I might be on the fence now, when I say it like that.
Yeah, when you think it through, right?
I'm like, damn it.
This whole clip was problematic. Even at the end of the clip, she said, if I had another dude, I wouldn't be asking you for help. So this is like the worst example of this situation, you know what I mean, that we're using. But, I always think about, as somebody who worked with kids, for my entire career, I always think about what effect it has on them long term. So that's just where my mind is set up.
Yeah.
To your point, Dr. Joe, is it the responsibility of that man to think about the psychological impact of that child that does not belong to him?
Absolutely not. It's not his responsibility. It's on the mother's responsibility and his actual father's responsibility. It's not on him. All I'm saying is, does he consider?
You're saying legally or morally?
I'm saying legally and morally. It's not his responsibility to look up. It's that's a internal, personal
so
decision.
You don't even think it's morally? Like when I take this vow, I'm not just taking this vow to you. I'm taking this vow to your whole life, everything that's involved. And yeah, we're no longer together. So children are collateral damage?
Yes, that's the choice that those two adults made. And that's a choice that when you chose this man to enter your child's life, you had to consider everything. So I do think that morally, financially, he doesn't have any obligation to that child. I'm speaking from me personally. If me and my wife were to go separate ways at any point during my son's upbringing, I would not have done this. I would not have made this move. You know what I mean? But that's me. But I'm not going to look at another man who didn't want to do it and say, you're wrong, bro.
But I would, because if you consider, and that's just the moral thing to do. If you consider that child if the child was disrespectful, disobedient, and you didn't have a great relationship, all right, peace, good riddance. But if you developed a relationship and you were their father, how could you walk away as a father? Dr. Alicia, what do you think?
Yeah, I just think this man was acting out of anger. He's upset about the fact that his wife was leaving him, and it would have been nice if he acknowledged his part in this. I suspect that he probably does have an emotional connection, not only with his wife, but also with this child. 7 years living with this little girl. I guess it's a little girl that he helped to raise. And those connections and those bonds last even after the relationship dissolves. So I suspect that once he comes and calms down, it would have been nicer to have seen a video recording of when they came back together and had this conversation again after they calmed down. Like to record right at the height of a dispute, to me, is a little suspicious. And then you just taken out of context, you can put little clips here and there, and then you can just kind of promote this chaos. Because remember, there's a promotion of chaos with Black families. Trust me, Hispanic families got chaos, and y'all don't know, white families got all sorts of crazy chaos too. So let's just not say this stuff is just not ascribed to us, right? So I just kind of wonder about that. Like, we need to see the whole conversation.
But is it on? Okay, so the question I wanted to know though, is it on the mother to just suck the shit up for her child and just be like, yeah, it is what it is, and he can walk away? Like, what does that leave for the child, that the abandonment that the child has? Is it on the mom?
Honestly, I really hope the child never sees this video. I hope someone just scrubs it off of there. I hope that the child doesn't see that, because that's not a conversation that really needed to get out. I mean, it's great that we're having this conversation, but for the welfare of the child, by the way, that's what the courts think. When marriages are dissolved, the very first thing that lawyers talk about, that judges care about, is best interest of the child. That comes the children in that marital situation. They care about them first. Parents come second. So I just know that from experience in working with family courts. I worked with family courts for a while, and that's what they care about. So they're going to think about what's in the best interest of the child, and so that would be a decision that all of us need to consider when we're entering into a marriage. The legal responsibility, the emotional responsibility, living 7 years, and then probably then some, because they probably dated before they were married for 7 years. That
adds one more reason to why Black men are not going to be getting married. Like, literally,
right? They already know. Right?
There's one more reason as to why folks not going to be getting married. Are you, so if you're saying if I marry you, I now become legally responsible for your children that are not my children?
Potentially, yeah. If the biological child, a biological parent is not in the picture, you could potentially be legally responsible, and that's something to consider. I think that no one gets married thinking that they're going to get divorced. So everyone gets married thinking that it's going to last. And so I think that that's something that you have to take into consideration, because you're not just marrying this person, you're marrying them and their children.
Right.
You have to be able to, and I have a course on that. I'll be talking about that. But but yeah, I mean, you take all of this in consideration. Love is not enough to get married, you know, so you have to consider all of these other aspects of the legal arrangement, financial responsibilities, emotional investment. It takes a lot of time and energy to connect with a small little being that's not even biologically yours. And it can be a beautiful situation, and often it is. Even after the relationship dissolves, you know, people still have a connection. I still have a connection with my stepmom. You know, my dad's passed away, but I still have a connection with my stepmom. I've known her since I was 8 years old, you know, so I've known her for a long time. So, but she doesn't have any legal responsibility, but we've kept up a relationship. So I think that's important to consider.
Yeah, relationships are important. I know when I got a divorce, and we're about to go to break, but some of, you know, a lot of his family reached out to me and they were like, we just want to make sure that we're still cool, because even though we're not together, I said, listen, our relationship wasn't predicated on my marriage to this person. Like, we good, you know? And so that's what people have to consider. The bigger picture is the relationship of the individuals and not that person. Just because you divorce that person, you don't have to divorce the whole family. It don't got to be a family feud because y'all not together. But I do want to ask you when we come back from break, should fathers who are not biological fathers, who thought they were fathers, should they still have to pay child support? Because legally they do. But let's talk about that after we come back from the break.
You want to grow your money and not blow your money, as Constance says, check us out at flynubianmoney.com. There's all kinds of resources, programs, videos, resources. In 2024, there's no reason to be broke when there's information all around us. So get your money right. flynubianmoney.com.
All right, who want to take that question on?
I love me some Tiara.
No.
I'll answer that. Hell no. Hell no. It's biological fathers that shouldn't be paying child support, you know, let alone somebody. Yeah, I said that. It's some biological fathers out there that shouldn't be paying child support. And there's some who are and some who should be.
Oh, because they're taking care of their kids.
Because they're taking care of their child. That's what I'm saying. Yeah.
Slap upside the face for saying that.
Come on, man.
People understand what you're saying.
Yeah, buddy.
You know me better than that, or hopefully by now, to know what I meant. But no, there's some biological fathers that shouldn't be paying child support.
So you're saying if they are not even if they thought they were biologically the father, and it turns out that they weren't, they should cease immediately paying for child support.
Yes. Hell yeah. Yes.
Dr. Alicia?
No, it makes sense that why would they pay child support? They were kind of misled, or maybe the biological mother didn't know. Mama's babies, Papa's maybes. I don't know what's going on there, but no, they shouldn't be responsible. Why would they be responsible for paying for continuing to support a child that's biologically not theirs? I think that mother should go and try to locate. That would be nice. Locate the actual father and try to see if they can develop some sort of relationship there or connect there in some way. But I don't think that if anything, I really wonder if that father could sue the mom and say, you misled me. You made me believe that I invested my time and energy into this. I need some compensation for that. It would be really nice. I really think that I really love what I'm seeing in terms of advocacy for fathers' rights and for even biological father and even stepfather's rights. The rights of fathers in courts really needs to be considered a lot. I think a lot of times fathers get the raw end of the deal a lot of times. And I really love some of the advances courts are starting to understand, like parental alienation, how that could be psychological and emotional and financial abuse as well. So I'm seeing a turn in the right direction in that aspect. So no, they should not be responsible for that child.
Well, Dr. Lene, I'm going to ask you this way. say he wasn't sure, there was a doubt that he was a father, but he decided, you know what, I don't care, I'm going to sign this birth certificate anyway, and it's going to be my baby. And then later it was determined that he really wasn't the father. Should he still be paying child support?
No, he should not. Should he still be in the child's life and support? Yes. But again, it becomes an option, not an obligation. If you have signed the birth certificate due to the fact that you thought this was your baby,
you thought you potentially there might have been some doubts though. So you said, I don't care.
Oh, I see what you're saying. You're saying if you already know that this might not be your baby, and you decide I'm gonna still take it on and love it anyway, and then it comes out that it's not. Yeah, no, if you already knew going into the game, you were not misled, you were not led astray, you were not bamboozled, you were not hoodwinked, and you said, you know what, I'm good either way, then you need to be good either way.
What do you think, Dr. Joe? Should they be able to change their mind?
I'm processing that right now.
I mean, come on, brother. You got all the answers on father's rights.
My initial response is still everybody. And I only think this, I didn't come in thinking this, like Dr. Lene changed me in like the first 5 minutes when she started talking about people not having kids and having the right to go off and live their life without being tied to these situations and start new lives with new women. So my mindset is now stuck into that. Like, and that's a real perspective. So I'm right now I'm leaning in on, like, everybody has the right to their own peace. And if their peace involves you walking away from a situation that you're not genetically or legally tied to, then you should be able to do that.
Because you signed that birth certificate. Oh. And you changed your mind. You know what? I don't want to be a daddy no more. I knew there was a possibility that I wasn't a daddy.
Okay.
But yeah.
Okay. Well, I still feel like, right is right, wrong is wrong. I feel like you should be able to walk away from that situation.
Even though he went in knowing, I just want to make sure I'm clear. Even though he went in knowing it was a possibility that he was potentially not the father, but he said, I don't care.
Hey, like I said, it's not a choice that I will make, but I still feel like everybody should have the right.
You made that decision to sign that damn birth certificate. Dr. Alicia, what you think?
Why are you just going?
Okay. No, my bad. Go ahead.
You don't like what I'm saying? You gonna flip it? You don't like what I'm saying? So
I didn't like what you said. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
Go ahead. Okay, we're talking about.
Let Dr. Joe finish. I'm sorry.
It is assumed that when you are married to somebody and there's a child born within that marriage, it is assumed that the husband is the father of that child. Those are the assumptions there.
Allegedly.
Allegedly. But I mean, it would be that would be something. If
that's the word of the day. Wait, that's the word of the day, Gwen.
Allegedly. If you have I don't know what husband would have their wife take a DNA test if they thought, unless they had some evidence that maybe that child is not theirs. But I think, gosh, and that's another legal responsibility. Even if your wife has a baby by another man, but you're married to each other, and you signed it, you are responsible. My understanding is that you are responsible for that child. And to have to deal with. Listen, it's messy. In times of love and marriage and children, everything is not straightforward. Things can get really messy and complicated. You don't have to use the courts. The courts are there when nobody can come up with an agreement. Like, no one can sit down. If two adults can't sit down and come up with an arrangement that's comfortable for both of them, then you have to get lawyers and courts involved. So let's just know that courts are there to kind of help out when these family disputes come about, and you need to have another person. So morally, what are you responsible for? Yeah, if you're married to somebody and there's children born.
But it's not even if you're married. Say you're with them, maybe you're but you say, I don't care. I'm going to sign this birth certificate anyway. Okay. And I don't care if he's there, if he's mine or not. But then at some point you say, hey, I want a DNA test to see if this is mine. And if it ain't,
change your mind about the situation, you want to try to get out. I want to try to get out. Okay, there's an entire TV shows based on paternity court. My mom, I watch that every day. Every day.
I do too.
Lord, do you really? It's eye-opening. I mean, you'd be so surprised at how much moms just don't know who the baby who the father of the baby is. It's really fascinating. But I don't know. It's a sticky situation. I really think that family planning and thinking about
girl, you don't think about family. These young people like
Dr. Alicia's gonna make it all nice and pretty.
They don't like thinking about family planning.
No, I mean, for real, people need to be educated because it's a child you're bringing into this. And
people don't even know the chaos with Dr. Alicia.
Right. These people are more
they having a kid with this dude.
You're bringing a child into chaos. I think I'm just pulling it back up to these parents. You know, you're bringing a child into all of this chaos. It has a psychological effect on that child. Children need happy, stable families that they need to, and it doesn't matter the family. Everyone thinks that family structure is the most important thing. And what's most important for children is stability, safety, and a loving family environment, not a bunch of chaos and craziness and abuse and emotional abuse and psychological abuse and having their parents fighting back and forth. Children deserve to be in stable families, whatever that takes.
Let me ask you a question though. What percentage of Black folks do you think is really doing family planning?
Thank you.
They need to. How about we're right now talking about this? We're right now talking about this. We're raising awareness, Fly Nubian Money, raising awareness about how important it is to have these situations. Do you want to be in a situation like that video? You don't want to be there. Nobody wants to be. That wasn't a great day. That was a very uncomfortable situation that they put themselves in. Yeah. What happened between? I want to know what happened between them two, because
your cousin, you know what you did, Lene, your cousin them.
She said to him, "You know what you did to make me file for divorce."
No, that's not what she said. She said, "You never asked." Let's play the clip. Let's play the clip again. Let's talk about that part.
You never asked why.
So for the people who are just coming in, we are talking about a viral clip of a couple who were going through a divorce. The husband, the wife was asking the husband to pay child support. She wants him to pay child support, even though they are no longer together. They're going through a divorce. Let's play the clip.
I said I pay for her daughter that's not mine biologically. Yeah, I took care of her. Okay.
15, and we'll figure this out.
You just thrown away 7 years of being in your daughter's life.
You're throwing away 7 years.
Raised her.
This was your idea, not mine. This is your idea, not mine. Was it not your idea to get divorced?
We're not getting anywhere. Let's just take 15 minutes to cool off.
How you don't want to take care of Charlotte?
Yo, you being unprofessional.
How you don't want to help me take care of Charlotte?
You're very unprofessional.
So what I'm supposed to tell Charlotte? So what I'm supposed to tell her? You just walking out of her life completely.
Yes, I am. I'm closing this chapter in my life. You want a divorce? I'm closing the chapter on you and Charlotte. I'm not taking care of neither one of y'all.
I wanted the divorce? You never asked me why I wanted the divorce.
Okay. You got a
You don't
divorce.
think it's something that you did wrong?
I ain't do nothing wrong. That's why I'm not taking care of you and Charlotte. I ain't do nothing wrong. You just walking away because you probably got a dude. You probably got a dude or something. I don't know what's going on.
If I had a dude, I wouldn't be asking you for no.
Check this out. I'm not about to take care of you. Meet somebody else.
So, Dr. Alicia, it sounds like he didn't know. It sounds like he didn't know why.
He knows what he did. He trying to play it off. That's what men.
She said it. She said you didn't even.
You don't know that.
Why.
You don't know that. You don't know that.
She said you didn't even ask me why I want a divorce.
Well, I tell you what, you don't even know how bad that hurt my feelings when he said, "I'm closing the chapter on you and Charlotte." And I was like, "Oh, Charlotte, poor Charlotte. Yeah. Oh, poor because she did. Yeah, I mean, she didn't do nothing to deserve this." But
well, you got two people here. Neither one of them really taking accountability in this clip. You know what I mean? So, I mean, we don't know who did what, honestly. But what we can see straight up in front of us that neither one of them are taking accountability for nothing. So if anybody, wants to feel sorry for Charlotte, then both of these people need to be held accountable for that.
For sure.
Absolutely.
Yeah, just like that. They said, had the same energy for the daddy. Where the daddy at? But you don't know that circumstance either. Dad could be dead or in jail, and that man might have said, "Listen, what's yours is mine. This is ours. We gonna thug this shit out for the rest of our lives." And you would think that people would have that moral compass to do that just because they're loving human beings. But you're right, it is not their responsibility, y'all. But we're gonna go to a commercial. We're gonna come back and talk more about this.
Fly Nubian Money is now on Spotify. Yes, yes, yes. We are on Spotify. So if you can't watch us, you can listen to us. All you have to do is search Fly Nubian Money and we will appear. All of our episodes. Make sure that you leave a 5-star rating and reviews so other people that come along and are looking for a good show to watch, they'll follow us too. If you are interested in being on Fly Nubian Money, sorry, I don't have any spaces. I'm just playing. If you are interested in being a queen or a king on Fly Nubian Money for the day, please reach out to me. I'm at info@realvirtual.net. That's info@realvirtual.net. Also, if you need help with your business, go ahead and send me an email for that too. Okay. I've said enough. Now back to the show.
Y'all, text the word Queens to 87948, QUEENS to 87948. Please, baby. Oh, we're going to get in trouble. We need you. Do it right now. Text word Queens. Okay, so Dr. Alicia, I want you to go back and read that law. Before the people who just came in, I want you, and if you could pull it back up, Gwen, read that law, Dr. Alicia, about the stepfather being financially responsible. It's going to get on the screen real quick. Not this one. Yeah. Go ahead. Here's the law. Go ahead and read it, Dr. Alicia.
Oh, you want me to read the screen or what's on my phone?
On the screen.
Okay. If the evidence shows that the step-parent acted as if the child was a child of the marriage, then the same Divorce Act obligations and rights would apply to a biological child. This means that the step-parent must provide child support and may apply to enforce their custody or access, i.e. parenting rights toward the stepchild.
Yeah. So he could ask for custody also, if that's what he wanted to do. But what do you guys think about that in the comments? Do you think it's fair for this man to have to, have the obligation to pay child support for a child that's not his, because he was the responsible party, stepped up and did the right thing because he wanted to take care of a child, but then the relationship dissolved and he says, you know what, I'm not responsible anymore. I'm not with you, so I'm not legally responsible or financially responsible for her anymore. But it begs the question that you brought up earlier, Dr. Lene. Are Black men going to want to stop getting married because of this rule? We already got these issues. Well, I don't want to marry y'all asses anyway, but we have these issues right now with, the amount where Black men are saying getting married is a liability. It's not a benefit to us. And now you throw that on there. What's going to happen?
So I have a couple of different things. I'm going back and forth. I'm teeter-tottering on the situation. I think that a stepfather or step-parent, and I have a plot twist too. I got a plot twist for us. But I think that it should not be something that is legally enforced, meaning you are forcing the stepdad to have to take care. If they show up and they want to and they do, cool. But it shouldn't be court mandated and ordained that this stepfather shows up and the real father does not. That's what I think. I think that that's where I'm going to land on this, because you have a lot of good men that are like, I will still support and be there for this child who I helped raise, but I'm not legally responsible. Like, don't come after me, force me, make me try to do something that you're not even forcing and making the real father do.
That part.
But I will honor the relationship that I have with this child. I think that is where I think I might fall. Let it be up to that man. Divorce is already traumatizing. You already have all these emotions, and we can hear it and see it between these two people. It's rolling down to the child. Had this divorce maybe not been a shock, I don't know if the specifics are, because we're only getting a clip, but to Dr. Lucia's point, if they were calmer and they weren't both operating in hurt, maybe there could have been some type of better negotiation about how we go forward with Charlotte. I know this is not your child. I know that this is not your responsibility, but due to the fact that you've had 7 years in her lives, I would really appreciate it if we can keep moving forward and have you be in her lives. I don't necessarily think we have to do it through the courts. It doesn't have to be child support, but if you could just show up for her and maybe have my back and support me and help me when I need it. Maybe something along those lines, opposed to you.
That's a mature thing, right?
Yeah, maybe that. Because there are a lot of good Black men that still will show up and support. But to take the court thing, and you don't have, where's Charlotte Daddy at? That's what I want to know.
But okay, so but the question then I'd still make the question: is it going to prevent Black men from wanting to marry?
It could.
Because they already got a million excuses of why they don't want to marry. It's not to our benefit. We don't benefit. It's a negative for us.
That's
now
fake
you throw that
news.
on top of
I
it.
want to say that's fake because the
Fake news.
reality, we're talking about what's played up versus the reality. The reality is married men make more money. Married men experience greater health, physical health, mental health.
They live longer.
Married men have better sex lives than non-married men. There is a bias positively skewed to married men. And these are not anything I'm making up. Y'all can look it up. These are facts about marriage. So you need to beg the question in your mind, given this information, why are we seeing this promotion that marriage is such a horrible thing for men? Why are we seeing this promoted? That's a bigger question that we need to kind of consider, because marriage benefits men, but we see a lot of rhetoric where marriage is a scary, awful thing for men. But it really, in reality, it really is not.
We need more Black men speaking up, more married Black men speaking up.
I have my
about
plot
that.
twist.
Go ahead. Oh yeah, what's your plot twist, girl? What's your plot twist?
So we're talking about a stepdad.
Yeah.
What if it's a stepmom?
Okay. Wait.
What if there is
Run
a
that
mother?
Yeah.
What if
Yeah, Constance.
Run that back. Run it back.
Run it back. You heard her.
Run it back.
Yeah.
Run it back. Okay,
Let me
explain this.
Joe, yeah,
You
Constance.
puffed up real big, Joe. What you trying to say? What you trying to do? What you want?
You can
We good? We good? We good?
I think that's interesting to consider, because whoever's the custodial parent, right? Typically, it's the mother that's the custodial parent. But if the father is a custodial parent and the father's married, then yeah, I guess you could make that entire claim as well, that the mother is responsible for the child. You could definitely make
nobody's going to do it though. It's going to be like, go girl, get away from that.
Joe,
I can't believe you sacrificed so much for that.
Joe, I could put my life and $1,000 on the fact that more women will step up than men. Period.
Yeah,
women are maternal. We are nurturers. We're going to take care of children. Like, we don't just abandon or walk away. That's just the nature of a woman. Yeah. So don't we're not gonna, ain't nobody gonna say yes, girl.
Let me tell you why.
Unless they some ghetto trash.
Because those kids, a lot of the times, are gonna come with a whole nother woman, right? And you're gonna have to deal with all of that too. So I don't necessarily know if I agree with that. But you know, you're right about the nurturing part, but I don't know about that.
Wait, though, Judah Lyon said, I stopped trying to marry y'all a long time ago. And then Dawn said, that's okay. You leave us alone. You keep going out there and breaking the law. I'm like, y'all in here. Judah Lyon, no law, stay single, keep breaking the law. Y'all in here clouded. Y'all ain't got shots fired all up in the comment section. But
let me tell you what I experienced though, in doing couples counseling, sometimes with couples who are not married yet or getting ready to go into that chapter. When you start introducing conversations like this, the ones that make them uncomfortable, they really get tight, because they're so hyper focused on planning the engagement, planning the wedding, that they don't even think about actually planning the marriage. Yeah. So when that stuff starts happening, you start talking about, literally pulling questions out, and they're like, what do y'all think about finances? What do y'all conversation about raising children? And all those conflicts arise.
And you mean tell me y'all ain't had them conversations yet?
They ain't had them yet.
They run. Conversations?
They run. I might not see those clients again after even approaching those situations, because they are so uncomfortable with anything derailing the wedding. They're so hyper-focused on the wedding. They're not even thinking about the marriage.
Oh, God. We need to have more conversations about this then, because too many people have the wrong idea about marriage, and they're going in thinking the wrong thing. If they ain't have basic conversation about children, about financing, about where y'all gonna live, y'all just having sex and planning weddings, that's it.
So I said that to say, if you start introducing stuff like this, now I want you to start thinking about let's talk about your plan as a step parent. All right. Mm-hmm. I'm out of here.
God dang.
What we're talking about is boundaries. You know, you have to have, when you have a blended family, which, by the way, 40% of Americans have a blended
Let's put those
situation. Or a
statistics. I think
blended.
we got the statistics around that. I think we got, 17% of Hispanics, only 1 in 6 kids live in blended families. So 17% Hispanic, 17% Black, 16% total, 15% white. Asians are staying together, huh? Asian, 7% Asian. So we're neck and neck with Hispanic families by living in blended families, but we're not staying. We're not really not in marriages as much as everybody else. Our marriage rate is lower than everyone else, but it looks like the ones who are mostly our blended family. Is that due to people having children out of wedlock? Is that due to people being married before and divorcing? What is that? What attributes to that? All y'all doctors could answer.
We less willing to stay. Now, if you look at that graphic, I have clients that are Asian, right? Asians will stay in, from my experience, will stay in a bad situation, regardless of what the situation. They'll stay. I'm really surprised to see Hispanics so far up there, because they'll stay in bad situations too.
That's what I said, Dr. Joe.
That's from, but I'm surprised, but Dr. Alicia's not. So I'm going from my own personal experience. But we willing to leave. We willing to leave. We'll walk away from some stuff without actually having the conversations. We're not going to go to couples counseling. You have to drag from my perspective. You have to drag Black folks into couples counseling to have these tough conversations. If you even start approaching these tough conversations, they rather blow up than deal with the shame and guilt of whatever they is causing marriages to dissolve in the first place. So that's where all these blended families, I believe, are coming from. What you think?
What you think, Dr. Lee?
Yeah, no, I mean, it makes sense. It's like the reality of marriage, understanding what it's really about, making implicit expectations in a marriage, make it explicit, like planning all of this. How do you want your marriage to look like? What are some boundaries around finances, about how you spend your time, about how often you want to go into the bedroom? All of these things need to be explicitly talked about. And
So
when there's conflicts in it, it needs to be discussed.
What if you say we should have sex 3 times a week, but then when you get married, you don't want to have sex 3 times a week? Who's right and who's wrong?
You have to revisit. I mean, you have to revisit these expectations, but you can't just like not follow through with what you've agreed to. You have to have a conversations. Mm-hmm. We trust pastors over counseling. No, oh my God.
No,
I'm going to tell you something.
That's the truth.
And God, that drives me crazy.
Peacemaker, that's the truth, Peacemaker.
I cannot tell you. Mm-hmm. How lousy some pastors
girl, yes.
You're giving marital counseling.
I've heard some of the worst advice from pastors.
Oh my God. Their heart's in the right place, I'm certain.
She's always so positive.
Have you counseled any pastors in marriage? Have you done that?
I have.
Oh, it's crazy.
The worst.
I don't want to say the worst, but it gets pretty bad.
First ninjas is the worst niggas. I mean ninjas.
You know, I don't even want to talk about it.
What is wrong with this?
We'll talk offline about what I noticed with stuff. But oh my God. Yeah. So things need to be explicit. I think Black people can have a beautiful relationship. It is possible. It can happen. You can have a blended situation where everybody's loved and respected. Everybody feels important. There's boundaries, though. The boundaries are so important because it's way more complicated than just a regular traditional, what's called a traditional marriage. But I have seen really beautiful things. I just want everybody to know that it's attainable. Don't feel like all hell's going to break loose because I don't have this sort of pre-contrived whatever relationship situation it is. Family structure has to be a certain way. It doesn't. As long as children and everybody feel it's stable, everybody feels loved and supported with their needs, it can be a beautiful situation for everybody.
Yeah, I agree with Pretty Richie. Effective communication is key. Whether it's counseling or with the actual counselor or through your church, whatever it is, having these conversations. Because I had to ask myself, if I'm having this conversation with somebody and I say, hey, if the relationship goes south, We don't expect it. We don't want it to. But if the relationship goes south, are you responsible? Are you still going to take care of my kid? Now, if that person says no,
they ain't saying no because they in love.
I'm not responsible for it.
But they not saying no, Dr. Lene. They in love.
That's a legit question. We are together. We plan to be together forever. But if we go sideways, I still want you to take care of little Johnny or Charlotte. Even if we're not together, even if this goes bad, you should still be responsible for Charlotte.
Well, ain't you claiming Charlotte on your taxes? I mean, if you're claiming them on your taxes, then you invested money in that.
But we're not there yet. We're not claiming Charlotte on my taxes yet. This is a premarital conversation.
Yeah, I want to say something.
Somebody says no. If I'm marrying you, I'm gonna take care of Charlotte. But if things go wrong, Charlotte's not my responsibility.
He ain't gonna say no. He gonna say yes.
If somebody asked you at the front of the premarital, we premarital. We're talking about having honest boundary conversations. And you know if this is not my child, I'm not going to take care of the kid. Are you going to say yes or are you going to say no?
Yeah.
That's a decision. That's a decision to be made. You can't claim
but they both can lie. He said he would. I said I wouldn't. And then it's up to the judge. Right?
They do say, but wait, what is this? I never go to the comments.
I know you never go to the comments because she always be like, who said what?
I never look at the comments, but I look at someone that says, men, get your passports. And I want to say something like that. Y'all, I challenge all y'all passport brothers. Look at 90 Day Fiance. Watch that show. And then tell me if you want to take your passport back. That show is, the grass is not greener. Watch that show, 90 Day Fiance.
Honestly, I don't even believe in marriage for me anymore. Like I don't, and Dr. Lene, you're a woman, you're the same age as me. Do you want to get married at some point?
I do want to get married. I don't even want to tell y'all the year, but I do want to get married. I feel like I'm finally ready. I'm in a place where I can be married.
Were you never ready before?
A lot. Yes, I was not ready before. And for so many reasons, I was not mature enough. I was not ready to submit. I was selfish, put my career first. I put taking care of my son first. Like I know a man doesn't want to play second to my son, and my son was first. So I knew that. So it didn't make sense. My son, my business, and then whatever was left. I didn't have space for a man. But I knew that about me as a Virgo and a perfectionist and just a person who I didn't even want to have kids when I was younger. I did not want to have kids because I didn't think that I was going to be able to give to a child. I didn't want to have kids and I didn't want to get married for the majority of my life until I was about 20, until I got pregnant with my son. Then when I had my son, because I thought I would be such a bad mom, I put all my energy and effort and everything I had into doing that because I thought I was going to fumble it because I'm so selfish. Yeah. So I didn't have the capacity to bring a man in, right? So now that my son is up, school is up, my business is good, I'm in a season of knowing myself, self-aware. I've dealt with a lot of my trauma, a lot of my issues. I'm in a better place to be a good woman and be a good wife.
You did the work, hunty. So, okay, but how old is your son?
24.
Okay, he's grown. So does the person that you marry, do they have to consider your son? Not that, he gonna take care of because your son's grown, he got a daddy, but does that have to be a factor in how the relationship that,
yes, or he has a relationship not take care of, have a relationship with. Mm-hmm. My son's dad is amazing. My son has a dad. We good. Yeah. But involvement, just relationship, check on him, see how he's doing, advise him.
Right, absolutely. Be a mentor. Yes. Yeah. My son's biggest fear is that they gonna come downstairs and some Negro gonna be in his boxer shorts in the refrigerator talking about like on Baby Boy. So that's their biggest fear. They just don't want to come and see. They all said that, like, Mama, we just don't want, So, but for you two, you both are married, Dr. Alicia, Dr. Joe, and I know that you believe in the sanctity of marriage. Is marriage for everyone? And no, okay, it's not. Okay, go ahead.
Marriage is not for everybody. I mean, it could potentially be. I mean, look, we just listened to Lene give an eloquent discussion about how she was not ready. It's good. It's better to know that you're not ready than to not know that you ain't ready and then, make somebody else's life miserable when you're not ready. Definitely selfishness. I'm glad that you can acknowledge that in yourself. Selfishness is, you cannot be married and be selfish. That would be very difficult to do. And so she's taking on the role of a parent, and she doesn't have any room in her life for a relationship. And she wants to make sure that she's doing it properly. And she wants to focus her time and energy on being a mother, developing herself as a mother. And that's okay. There's nothing wrong with that. And that's a lot for people. So that's really good to, to see yourself in that way. Oh, goodness. Okay. Very nice to see yourself in that way. So people need to be, then you have the self-awareness for marriage. What's going on with the screen?
They got me up here. So so the second part of that question, I know that you have a blended family, and I know it was important for your husband to have a relationship with your children. I see how he has taken them on as his children. But if they were adults and, you were single and you got married to someone and they had adult children, would that be also important? You can put us all back. Would that also be important for him to have a relationship with your children? Is that
the type of relationship would change? Are you talking to me? Yeah, the type of relationship would change. It's a different relationship because they live here versus somebody who's grown and gone. That's a different type of a relationship. But yeah, it's a relationship. You're marrying that person and their family, and why not invite them in?
Sometimes when we be like, mama, it's mama time. I didn't raise these kids and, F these kids. It's about me. You do have those really selfish women who can care less if this man comes in their life and messes with their kids or not. It's about them at this point. And I don't understand it, but you do see that sometimes.
I mean, again, boundaries need to be talked about. Like, I'm a mama. I feel like I need my time. I need my time all the time as a mama. And, different households have different rules. What are the rules when people are here, in one household versus the rules when they're in another household? It's respecting those boundaries. Again, a lot of it is about boundary violations. How to spend your time. How do you spend holidays? How do you spend your money? How do you spend your resources, emotional, psychological resources? All of those things need to be talked about explicitly. When you're getting married to somebody, having different scenarios play out, making sure everything is stable, no random kids popping up here and there. You need to establish that those boundaries have to be established.
Well, that goes back to the whole conversation. If you have a step parent who becomes legally, allegedly responsible for this stepchild,
allegedly,
right? And if I'm paying for this child, then I should be able to see this child who is not my child. I go and get married. I get a new wife, and I'm taking care of a child who is not my child, who is in my home, who is not my child, with my wife, who I have children with. What psychological damage is now done to this child?
Wait. I need you to say that one more time. Say that one time.
So I am a step parent who is now legally responsible for a child that does not belong to me.
Okay.
I go into a new relationship. I get married, and I have children. And I'm still legally responsible to take care of this child that does not belong to me and bring this child into my home that does not belong to me with my wife and children who do belong to me. What kind of psychological damage is happening to this child now? Also, because this is not my child, I'm a step parent. The parent who is biologically the child has, quote unquote, allegedly the final say, the most say, because that parent is the parent. So now I'm taking care of a child who I don't really have a say so in because I'm a step parent who's now married to a new parent or a new person with my own kids. And you're trying to tell me what to do in my own house with a kid that's not even mine. Like, it just gets so complicated.
It does.
But what do we talk about is that because there's some nuances there that I read earlier. It says they consider whether the step parent disciplines the stepchild as if they're parents. So you do have say so.
Yeah,
that's a requirement in order for you to be able to.
That's what the law says.
Look at these relevant factors.
It's a requirement. But that means it's something that they put out there.
But I'm thinking on that, if I take on this child and bring him in my house and I'm not acting as a step parent, I'm acting as his parent. So therefore he's going to be treated the way the rest of my children are. And there should not be any issues because we're not saying no step. If I'm taking him on.
You do it. What if you are a step? We're talking about somebody who's being forced to do it by the law.
Shit. Oh, because if they got to pay, that they got shut up.
Legally, remember? So if you take the person to court, I don't want to take care of the kid. This is not my kid. But
so now you got to have custody too. God.
According to
You
this
can
law,
claim them on your taxes. You claim them on your taxes.
So you don't want to have them no more. So
So
now
you
you got to
are
bring them to your house and you don't even want them. Why would they go if you don't even want them? That's crazy.
because the law says. So it legally, if
Girl.
we're going the law route, if the law says you're the step parent, you took care of them, you disciplined it, you're legally responsible. You have to do X, Y, and Z.
You didn't go down a whole rabbit hole.
Well, I mean, you claim them on your taxes. You have the Social Security.
Look, Joe got a headache. Go ahead.
That's if you claim on your
Take them
taxes,
to
the mama's
school,
probably
you can
claiming
pick
them
them
on
up
the
in
taxes.
school. I mean, you
Mom is
carry
the
on
parent.
the responsibilities. I mean, listen, I think all of these things need to be talked about and negotiated. All of these things need to be discussed.
But
Moving on to a
that's
new
why we
relationship.
got to have more of these conversations, Dr. Alicia, because we really are not doing premarital counseling. We are really not doing premarital planning. Like when you said that, it's like, what? These people having sex with people they don't even know, having babies with people they don't even know. To talk about premarital planning, like what? That is so foreign in our community. Joe, I'm gonna ask you this, and then we could go to final thoughts. Would you marry a woman that you didn't have a relationship with their children?
No,
Why?
I wouldn't do that to myself. First of all, I don't think that's fair to her. I don't think that's, first of all, what type of woman is that would want me to marry her without having a relationship with her children?
Even if her kids were grown.
Oh, if her kids are grown?
Yeah.
I'm still not doing that. Because I'm like, what is her? I don't understand. Like, how do you not have a relationship? Does she have a relationship with her children? Because if she has a relationship with her children, then I probably should too. Now, however, I'm not going to force those kids to have a relationship with me if they're grown. If they don't want to, then, but I'll put it to you like this. I'm not going to be the reason why we don't have a relationship. Okay, so if they don't want to have a relationship with me, that's fine. I mean, I can deal with that. But it would be very uncomfortable, and I don't know if I would enter into a situation where that's always going to be an issue. I don't care what's going on. That's always going to be an issue.
Absolutely.
Period. For her, for me, for them.
And I'm gonna let y'all go, but that also brings me to a conversation that I have, just being a single woman and thinking about my children and then going into other relationships with people with children. It's always the responsibility of the adult. I hear women a lot of times that will say, well, this little girl, she bad. She don't want to have a relationship with me. So F her, I'm with the daddy. I don't care about her. But it's like, and well, she was disrespectful or she didn't respond to me. But I feel like, to me, it's on me as the woman, because I am a woman, to continue to try to have a relationship and cultivate a relationship with that child. Yeah, they might have gone through some trauma. Yeah, the mama might be, in it and making her be disrespectful or whatever. But as the woman, I should try. I'm not going to reject her as a child because I'm a woman. I'm the responsible adult. What do you guys think about that? Because I see that very often. Women say, not having relationships with these girls, especially, but they want to have relationships with their daddies.
I think that as a woman, to your point, a real woman is going to step in and try to cultivate, like to your nurture, cultivate, whatever the case might be.
I don't understand that other thinking though. But it's out there, y'all.
Operate from hurt. I always say that people always wonder, how do you and your son's father get along so well? And this is my reality for everybody. When two people part ways and both people know that this is the best thing, this person's not losing anything. This person's not losing anything. I wish you well. I wish you the best. We can go our separate ways and we can be cool. I'm gonna cultivate the relationship. I moved to Atlanta so we could co-parent. Like, we're gonna do everything that we can do to make this work because I have your best interest and you have mine. Like, let's do it. When somebody in the relationships feels like they have been hurt, we saw it in that video. He felt hurt, right? He felt like something had happened to him, and she felt like, I'm allegedly, you deserve what's happening to you because you did something and you don't even know what it is, whatever. But there's hurt.
She said, Dr. Lisa, she know what it is. But go ahead.
Yeah, hurt always comes to the top. And what's best for the child, what's best for each other, what's best for the situation always goes to the side, because now we're operating out of hurt, frustration, fear, rejection, whatever the case might be. And that is what we use to operate, make choices and make decisions. And then that's why we end up with what we're seeing right here in this situation, but in anybody's situation, when we're talking about children and who's responsible and who should pay and who's going to show up, and you don't get to see your child because you did X, Y, and Z. but the child is the one that suffers.
Yeah, at the end of the day, the child's one that suffers. Girl, that's some grown woman shit right there. I love it. Dr. Joe or Alicia, you guys want to speak on that in terms of like a grown-up's responsibility in terms of cultivating the relationship? Do you think it is the grown-up's responsibility, or should the kids be more respectful so that the grown-up should want to have a relationship? What y'all think?
I'll say, I think it is the biological parent's job to help to maintain and establish a healthy relationship between this new partner and the children. The biological parent plays a big crucial role in that, in making those connections, making sure that the boundaries are clear, making sure everybody is respected.
Right.
All of these things, it's a lot on the biological parent who's introducing a new person into the life of their children when they see that it's to that point where they can do that behavior. So a lot rests on the biological parent.
I like that.
In this situation, to maintain these boundaries, to pay attention, to watch, to be mindful of the types of interactions. You know, you're introducing a new person into a system, an ecosystem. You have this system and rules and all these things, and you have to be able to be the liaison in saying, here's how we do things here. Here's how, this is our morning routine. Here's how we celebrate holidays. Here are some of the traditions that we have as a family, just educating that person, whatever the biological, it's usually the mother, but it could be the father too. The biological father now has to introduce a new partner into his ecosphere. So there has to be sort of like a preparation for it. It needs to be very mindful, and you have to make sure that you are an adult. Don't just be throwing stuff together and walking away from things and not paying attention to what impact this has on the child. I mean, can you imagine if you have a parent, mom or dad, who's constantly rotating men and women out of their lives? Like, that's not mature. And you have to really think about your children. It's one thing if it's just you as a single person, but you have young people that you are responsible for, and you need to be responsible in how you interact and create those relationships.
That is so true. And I'm glad you said it's on the biological parents. Sometimes these biological parents, though, they don't even know how to manage the last relationship and how to, bring it all together. And I often think about that as a single parent with kids. Most of my kids are adults now, but I haven't brought anybody around my kids ever. So I think about that, like, how is this all going to work? How am I going? It's very overwhelming for me and my kids is almost grown. I mean, I just have one still in the house. But what about you, Dr. Joe? And then we'll go to final thoughts. What do you think about whose responsibility is it? Is it the biological parents? Is it the other adult? Is it the child? Is it the other baby parent?
I think that everything that Dr. Alicia said is accurate, and I agree with it. I would just say that as someone that comes into the situation who is not the biological parent, you do have a responsibility to show up in that space authentic and not wearing a mask or, trying to pretend to be something you're not, shrinking yourself to fit in a space that is, too small for you. You have to be who you are. Yeah. You have to be who you are, because if you're not, on the back end, when the real you starts to pop out, then it's going to create issues, it's going to create problems. So you do have a responsibility. You do have some responsibility, because, like Dr. Alicia said, it is an ecosystem, and you have to know and play your role inside of the ecosystem, or the entire thing breaks down.
Yeah, I kind of like you, Dr. Joe. You might keep you around for a little bit.
Yeah. I'm good at some stuff. A
couple things. Okay. Since you just last spoke, won't you give us your final thoughts and where they can find you?
My final thought is this. We have to get to a space where we normalize planning for these situations. We have to have these conversations early. We have to keep revisiting these conversations. We have to be proactive and not reactive when we're talking about what our relationships are going to look like. And if we do that, we won't be so surprised on the back end when situations arise, because we've all come into this space kind of with our boundaries set, or with the safety to change our boundaries when we need to change our boundaries. So have these conversations early. Don't get so hyper focused on planning the weddings and the engagements and the gender reveals and all this other stuff that you forget to plan for a marriage and a life as a husband, wife, father, mother, stepmother, stepfather, whatever it may be. So, and you can find me on Instagram at jcorley80. You can hit my website at realuconsulting.com and let's talk.
Let's talk. He be handling it, y'all. All right, Dr. Alicia, what about you?
I got a course on this. Go to thedramafreefamily.com.
Let's go.
Dr. Boyce and I did an entire course on this, how blended families come together, the beautiful way in which you can kind of overcome some of these topics. There's a workbook involved, there's videos, there's everything. So go to thedramafreefamily.com, get that class, get that workbook, dig into these. The reality, 40% of Americans have at least one step relative. This is going to be the norm, not outside of the situation. The norm is to have a step relative, and we need to understand how to deal with this. So y'all hit the like button and share this with all the people around you. And it was fun talking about this today.
I love it. Thank you, Dr. Alicia. All right, we're going to wrap it up with the last doctor. Gwen, you can take her off the screen now. Sleep at the wheel.
Listen, y'all over time. Listen.
I know, right? She said, I'm gone.
Somebody else can do it.
Somebody else run the board.
I'll be quick. I'll be short. I'm just going to go back to literally everything that we've already said here today. Communication is key. Boundaries is key. Not even boundaries. Communication. Understanding saying what you would like, what you expect, but also listening for what the other person needs and what they want. So that if this person comes into your ecosystem, they know how to play their role, but also how to be incorporated and have their authenticity, rights, rules, beliefs integrated into the ecosystem so that you can actually have a blend. I think that the situation that we're talking about right now, there wasn't a full blend, because a real blend means you can't see where the beginning and the end is. We're one. So if we separate, I'm still going to be there to take care of the child. That's we're blended. What's yours is mine. What's mine is yours. When we go to separate things, the blend should still be there. I still got you. You still got me. We're just going to go our separate ways. So effective communication, open, honest, deep, thorough communication can help with a lot of those things. And so I'll leave it at that. I'm Dr. Lene Javette. I'm a business coach and monetization strategist. I work with Black entrepreneurs to make sure that you make money and that you are profitable and that you don't fall to the stereotypes that are out there in the world.
Wow. You know what? I love having these conversations because I don't know, y'all. And they're very interesting to me because relationships are so complicated. I mean, I was married 132 years. I keep telling y'all I look young for my age, but I was married a very long time. So just stepping out there and seeing all of the nuances and the complexities of blended families and relationships is scary. It's really scary. That's why I'm like, I don't know if I really believe in marriage. For me, the C word, the commitment is also very scary for me. So I'm just, I'm so glad that I get to hang out with all these really, really, really smart doctors. We got 3 smart doctors on the panel, and I get to just absorb all their knowledge and all their game because I am confused as shit. I don't know who's supposed to be responsible for what or who's supposed to be doing what. I'm confused, but I'm just letting go and letting God. That's the only thing I can do. So where can you find me? Everywhere. I am Constance Carter. But listen, as we head out here, y'all, I want to thank you guys for joining us. I want to thank you for joining the Fly Nubian Money. We are here 5 days a week. I'm here Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday. Dr. Lene and Dr. Alicia are here Tuesdays and Thursdays. And then Dr. Joe, what days are you here?
I'm showing up on Fridays.
On Fridays, but sometimes he is special guest on a Tuesday, a Wednesday, and Thursday, and a Monday, right?
I'll pop on that after dark too. With
Oh shoot. So we're here 5 days a week, same time, same back channel. But if you want to get notified, please, or Tiara gonna whoop us. I need you to text the word Queens to 87948. That's QUEENS to 87948. And if you want to know how to grow your money and not blow your money, because if you blow your money, it ain't a damn thing funny, go to flynubianmoney.com. And then remember, we are on Spotify. Okay, so if you can't watch us, look at, ain't we cute? Ain't we cute? Dr. Lene with her braids over, ain't she? Don't I know you want to see us? Look at Dr. Alicia and Dr. Joe. Okay, you ain't hat fishing today. So aren't we all good looking? I know you want to see us, but sometimes you just want to hear us on Spotify. Go to Spotify and search for Fly Nubian Money. And we're going to be right there too every day of the week. So we thank you for joining us. We're going to be here tomorrow, same time, same bat channel. So we appreciate you. Thank you, guys, ladies, and gentlemen. This was a great dialogue. Y'all got me even more confused than I was when I came on here.
Right?